We have had so many things brought to us through blog posts, twabs, as well as tweets from the Bungie team, which is why the squad and I consolidated everything here today to give you a year 6 roadmap. Now, this is based on everything we have been given so far. Keep in mind though, things are subject to change. We will keep a pinned comment down below that we will edit over time. With that being said though, a lot of people have been asking, Cross, when is the mid-season patch coming? That's actually going to be hitting us next week. This was confirmed by Bungie themselves, so let's dive right into those changes. This is going to be the Season 20 Season Defiance mid-season patch. Starting, Adept Raid Weapon Enhancing. That's right, guys. For those that have been collecting Adept Raid weapons, all of them that have been acquired, even retroactively, will be able to be enhanced. Now, enhancing a weapon allows you to level it up. You can put on a memento, you can change the barrel perks, the magazine perks, even the masterwork. So the only thing you really need on your Adept weapons is for the 3rd and 4th column traits to be your god roll, which is a big deal. Keep in mind, guys, you're going to be able to take those 3rd and 4th traits, enhance them, and simultaneously apply Adept mods. We're actually going to be reviewing a lot of different raid weapons after this goes live, because I really do want to try these weapons in their final form. However, if you are interested in the random rolls that you can get on all your raid weapons, feel free to check out this video here. Now, keep in mind, guys, you will not be able to change out your 3rd and 4th column traits. That's it. And you only get one of each. I know, kind of a bummer. When you look at other Adept weapons we have in the game, you would have multiple traits in a single column, giving you more flexibility there when getting your god roll. That is not the case with the Adept weapons from the raid. It's a single trait in each one of those columns, and that's it. However, keep in mind though, after you obtain and earn the Adept versions of these weapons, you can get to the end of the raid and just turn in spoils to get rolls over and over. Now, moving on, PvE primary weapon balance. These weapon archetypes will deal more damage to red and orange bars in PvE, and this buff also includes exotic weapons. Starting next week, guys, we are getting a 25% damage buff to auto rifles, a 20% damage buff to pulse rifles, hand cannons, and sidearms, and a 10% buff to scout rifles. Across the board, guys, these primary weapons are going to be feeling phenomenal. We even made a video of exotics we're going to be looking out for after these changes go live. I did not include Cerberus on that list, but some of you were like, Cross, what if Cerberus is meta? Dude, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's a 25% damage buff. I'm not exactly using Cerberus in Grandmaster content, but I'll try. Now, a weapon that's going to be on the chopping block is the Iterative SMG. Bungie stated they removed some tuning in the custom scope, causing these weapons to have significantly less recoil than intended. And the recoil is now in line with other aggressive frame SMGs. Bungie out here trying to bury Iterative. Now, rapid fire fusion rifle buff. This is a big one. They're increasing the burst damage by 15. So essentially the damage per burst goes from 245 to 260. And the damage per bolt goes from 27.2 to 28.9. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is only a PvP change. This does not have any effect inside of PvE. However, there are a few fusion rifles in the rapid fire department that I really like. Lightly Suspect was like my #1 fusion rifle in this archetype for a very long time, but I recently used Iterative Loop. It's got some fantastic rolls. This is the Neomuna fusion rifle. Kickstart, under pressure. We did a video on it and it absolutely popped. With that being said though, out of all the rapid fire fusion rifles that looks the juiciest for PvP, the fusion rifle that I think is going to pop the most out of all of them is Zealot's Reward. I know some of you are like, Cross, what the hell even is that weapon? I've never heard of it. Understandably so. It's the Garden of Salvation fusion rifle though. A sexy weapon, but also a rapid fire fusion. A lot of people probably didn't even keep a PvP roll of this, but if you have that under pressure high impact reserve roll, this bad baby's gonna crank, man. Moving on, trace rifles are also getting a buff. Increased base damage by 4%. Base damage goes from 12 to 12.5. Reduced precision hit multiplier from 1.4 to 1.35. Crit damage goes from 16.8 to 16.9. And increase the effectiveness of stability at reducing flinch by 10% at 100 stat. Scales down at lower values. The main takeaway from this, guys, trace rifles are going to be more forgiving and slightly easier to use. Now, rapid fire sniper rifles are also getting a buff. They're reducing the recoil by 50%. They're also increasing total ammunition, magazine plus reserves by 30%. Everybody dust off those cloud strikes. It's about to be meta. Final warning is also going to be getting a fix/nerf where it can no longer mark targets through Titan barricades. Now, the big one, Terror buff. Reduce the amount of Ravenous Beast energy generated when taking damage from 3% to now 1%. Also reducing zoom from 16 to now 15. Dude, Bungie is coming after these SMGs. Now, Revision 0. Honestly, this is the one I'm most excited for, but Bungie states that 4 times the charm will now be reset when entering Hunter's Trace. Now, this sounds bad, and it is, if you are purely relying on getting those 8 shots in its sniper rifle form. However, this does prevent the issue of firing a single shot while in Hunter's Trace and being forcibly returned to pulse rifle survival mode when 4 times the charm activates. So obviously it had some issues and some bugs. The main thing that we're excited for is that you're getting an increase in PV damage of those Hunter Trace rounds by 25%. And you're increasing the PV damage of the Hake Heavy Burst rounds, which is the 2-round burst mode, by 75%. So guys, just like I mentioned above, we're getting a 20% pulse rifle damage buff. And then on top of that, Revision 0 is getting all of these other buffs. We did an entire breakdown of Revision 0. This is one of our deep dive reviews. We did one on Leviathan's Breath and then one here recently on Revision 0. And let me just say, guys, this weapon next week is going to pop. I will be taking it into all the Grandmaster Nightfalls, at least the ones that have barrier champions. Now, Mars Heist Battleground, its Nightfall difficulty has been reduced. Now, they're decreasing how often command waves spawn on higher difficulties in the tower phase. They're also increasing the map score multiplier. They help players reach score goals without exploits. And they're adding an additional ammo crate. No lie, guys, without cheesing in this Nightfall, this is by far, in my opinion, the hardest Nightfall. It does not mess around. Matter of fact, we barely beat it yesterday. And I mean, I was heavily cheesing. I was sitting in a cheese spot, using a cheese weapon, taking advantage of the infinite damage over time with Osteo. My teammates died. I was the last man standing, and I still almost threw. It's a tough one. You can imagine how tough this thing is gonna get when all the cheeses get fixed, and it's gonna happen. So in my opinion, for those trying to get Conqueror, don't sit around and wait, expecting Mars Heist Battleground to get easier. It ain't. If anything, this thing is only gonna get harder. Can you imagine that final boss room where you can't even jump up to those tower sections? It's gonna be a pain. Now, General Heist Battleground difficulty reduction. Now, they're reducing the frequency and number of command waves in all boss fights. They're also reducing the health of Death Tongue Coursers. Hive Runes now have the same health on all difficulties, and they're thinning out the Fallen Trip Mines in Heist Battleground Moon. Now, it's interesting, they're actually reducing the health of Death Tongue Coursers whenever you have like Meatball and Lake of Shadows. That's literally meatier than like all the bosses in our Nightfalls. Now, moving on, we're also getting a new combination called Best Dress and Crucible Connection-Based Matchmaking Playlist. That's right, for my folks running away from skill-based matchmaking, there's gonna be 2 new connection-based matchmaking playlists that are gonna be added into the Crucible. Now, this will be a Crucible Relentless Rotator, Clash, Rift, and Zone Control. Clash is actually being removed from Quick Play. It'll just be Control now. Now, Relentless Rotator will be replaced with Trials of Osiris when it's active, but will stay when Iron Banner is active. Now, Crucible Party Rotator is also gonna be added, which will cycle between Mayhem, Scorch, and Momentum Control. There's also gonna be a new competitive division emblem, which is exactly why we're grinding for Ascendant right now. Emblems can now be acquired for reaching Ascendant 3 or higher. Fellas, you're gonna be able to flex it. By the way, if you wanna come check us out, we are actually grinding for Ascendant solo in the comp playlist. And let me just tell you, I have never questioned life more than playing competitive in Destiny 2 as a solo player. It might just be the most miserable experience I have ever experienced in gaming. And I know I sound dramatic right now, but if you happen to tune in for a stream, you can literally see it in my eyes. This playlist has taken years off my life. Now, competitive spawn protection overshield. Bungie is increasing the spawn overshield from 52 health to 150 health. Now, this is going to be separate from the revive overshield, which is unchanged. And essentially, this is to keep you from getting farmed off spawn. Granted, in other modes where you are getting revived by a teammate, this is still going to be that 52 HP. Now, guys, we're going to jump into the changes now, which could be a mid-season patch. But the TWABs and blog posts weren't exactly being specific here. But these changes are expected to take place before the end of Season 20, starting with Trials Labs. Now, this is going to be an experimental version of Trials of Osiris divided up into Challenger and Practice Pool. Now, the Challenger Pool will only be connection-based matchmaking. And if anyone on your team has a card with 0 losses, you will be in this pool. Now, Practice Pool is essentially a place to practice trials before attempting a flawless. Now, this will only be available to those on their first game of the week or with a flawed card. And matchmaking for this will be based on connection and weekly performance. Now, I know some of you are probably like, Cross, aren't people just gonna go in there with a flawed card and then proceed to just farm players that are just trying to practice? Bungie is supposed to have protection for this, as in within a single game, it will pick this up and then deal with them accordingly. Now, we're also supposed to be getting easier Neomuna patrols. Certain patrols in Neomuna should be easier to complete now. There's also going to be a pass at low score multiplier Nightfalls. Bungie's also going to be looking at throttling certain score objectives to reduce point farming. But we even saw yesterday in regards to Guardian rank where the point thresholds were lowered, making them easier to hit. Now, the Vex Strike Force event will be able to drop unacquired exotic armor pieces. If you have anything left to collect, guys, if you complete the Vex Strike Force event in the Vex Incursion Zone on a knockout list with no slot limits, exotic pieces will drop for you. Now, we're also supposed to be getting more frequent Vex Strike Force events, but to be honest with you guys, it's still abysmal. Like, when I have people coming by the stream saying, Cross, it's increased. I saw 2 events today over my 8-hour gameplay session. Fellas, that's bad. It's still not good. With that being said, though, if this event does pop up for you and you have exotics that you have yet to acquire, this will be a great resource outside of lost sectors, which are limited to certain exotics every single day. Now, let's move into Season 21. This is Season of the Deep. We're actually going to be getting 2 new armor mods. First is Powerful Attraction. When using your class ability, you collect all orbs of power within a radius determined by the number of copies of the mod you have equipped. That is fantastic for armor charge. We also have the mod Elemental Charges. We're collecting the subclass collectible associated with your damage type, that being Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, Void Breaches, has an escalating chance to grant you a stack of armor charge. And on Strand, this is granted by destroying tangles. Now keep in mind, guys, this is going to change depending on the subclass collectible. For instance, Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, those things are really easy to spawn. But the harder these items are to spawn, the higher the chance of getting an armor charge. Now, we're also going to be getting more Strand aspects. For our Titans, we're going to have Fletchet Storm. Hunters are going to have Threaded Spectrum. Warlocks will have the Wanderer. And these will all be unlockable via quests on Neomuna. Now, we have a new legendary weapon quest that's going to be coming out, and it's actually this weapon held by the Hunter, seen in the Lightfall key art, and it will be earnable via the aforementioned Strand aspects quest. Now, a lot of people are like, yo, where is this weapon? Why haven't we seen it, Bungie? Season the Deep. That's why. Now, Shoot to Loot is also getting a buff, which is exactly why I've been telling people this week, guys, to get the Hung Jury with Shoot to Loot and Kinetic Tremors. It can be used to loot orbs of power in addition to ammo boxes. Now, aggressive SMG nerf. There's going to be a shift to what resilience threshold aggressive SMGs can achieve that 0.67 time to kill value. And it's going to be shifting a majority of time to kills to 0.77. Guys, that's only 0.3 less than precision SMGs. This is a big nerf. Now, hipfire reticles are also getting an update. There's going to be a sweeping rework of weapon hipfire reticles to better display useful information to players. So again, accuracy, aim assist, charge state, exotic perks, all this stuff are going to have better display while in hipfire form. I think my favorite thing out of all of this is, of course, our exotics, things that we actually want to see. And we've been seeing some updates here and there, like for instance, Terrabug, which actually shows Ravenous Beast there at the bottom left. But this is the kind of feedback we need for a lot of different exotics. And then of course, beyond that is as you're actually pushing with a weapon, whether you're moving, jumping, whatever, having your hipfire reticle display accurately or more accurately is a must. Now, a 10% PV sniper rifle buff is also going to be happening. So again, we just talked about Cloud Strike being so good, but this applies to everything. Whisper the Worm, Darcy, even our legendary sniper rifles like Succession. The question we have, at least in our review for Revision 0, are we going to get that 10% damage buff on top of the 20% damage buff to pulse rifles in Revision 0 sniper rifle form? I hope. Now, exotic reworks. There's going to be buffs and adjustments to more than a dozen exotic weapons, including Graviton Lance and Salvation's Grip. Bungie has taken it personally here recently when folks have talked about how bad Salvation's Grip is, which I mean, it is. I don't think anyone's been like, yo, you bringing Salvation's Grip in the raid? We need that meta weapon. That weapon was shine on arrival. I literally just used it for platforming and quests. I hope Bungie does give it a nice buff though. Now, upgrades to more than 15 of the lower performing exotic armors and a rollout of balance changes to several others. Now, there have been lots of leaks that have been posted, but again, guys, I try to steer away from these. I've been baited so many times in the past. I'm not saying I don't trust you guys, but I don't trust you guys. You know what I mean? So if you have any leaks, please keep them to yourselves and we'll see if they actually become true or not. Now, there is going to be no power increase in Season of the Deep. This is a big one, guys. No powerful or pinnacle cap increase at all, meaning you're going to be able to run straight into everything, which is exactly why Trials of Osiris is launching week 1 of the new season. Now, deep sight activation is also going to be a thing in Season of the Deep. This is a huge change. This feature allows you to electively apply deep sight to a weapon that has a pattern available to unlock. Now, let me clarify a few things on this, because I know probably got a lot of questions in your head right now. This is only weapons that have not previously rolled with deep sight. Meaning if you had a weapon that was a red border, you attuned, you cannot activate deep sight on it again. Now, in that same thread, you cannot activate deep sight on the same weapon instance multiple times. So you can't activate and then turn around and reactivate. Now, the ability to manually activate deep sight will be tightly controlled, and there will be some variation in costs depending on the weapon. For example, a raid weapon will require additional currency compared to a seasonal weapon. I think the main takeaway for this is folks asking, Cross, can we do this to weapons that are crafted craftable, but are no longer dropping in the wild. For instance, if I have a number of Ikelos SMGs in my vault, can I attune those weapons? Honestly, guys, we need to wait for further disclosure here from Bungie on this one. With that being said, we do have a video we're working on how to obtain old craftable weapons. Now, moving on to more strand weapons. Bungie stated that more strand weapons are in the oven, and we know we're going to be getting a Gambit strand linear fusion rifle, as well as an Iron Banner strand fusion rifle, which is very interesting. Now, Guardian rank 5 will be the new base for returning players. In addition, some objectives will be remixed to show a better progression of skill between each rank, and re-ranking in each season will be much faster than the original push. Now, keep in mind, guys, I still don't think that's the answer. We're not asking for this to be easier, we're asking this to be more prestigious. We did an entire video talking about Guardian ranks and how this is a perfect opportunity for Bungie to finally pitch us exotic class items as prestige pieces for reaching the highest Guardian ranks. And before I have people say, Cross, that just means the rich are getting richer. Guys, it's just an exotic class item. It's just for the drip man. Now, artifact perk refunds. This allows you to select individual perks on the fly without resetting your entire artifact. That's huge. I love this. I'm still waiting for our loadouts to actually save our artifact mods and just unlock those in our artifacts when swapping our loadouts, but this is still a great start. Now, Trials and Grandmasters are going to be arriving much earlier. Trials of Osiris will be arriving week 1 since we're actually not having our levels increase, and Grandmasters will be arriving in week 4 instead of week 7. Now, keep in mind, the Grandmaster rotator for us to guild or conquer titles, that will not be available until week 7. Now, the biggest change out of all of this, and the reason why this is so good, especially when you combine it with unlocking exotics you have yet acquired with Vex Strike Force, you are now going to be able to focus exotic armor pieces. Guys, you're going to be able to go and focus exotic armor with Raul at the tower. Now, all exotic Ingrams, aside from drops from activities that reward exotics, that is Lost Sectors, Vex Strike Force, Nightfalls, will no longer auto-decrypt. These will sit in your Ingram inventory. Now, there's going to be advanced decryption where you focus an exotic Ingram to a specific entitled release. So Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, the Witch Queen, etc. Now, exotics that came out alongside seasonal releases are always included in the previous year entitlement. Now, the cost for this will be 1 exotic Ingram, 1 Ascended Shard, and 30,000 Glimmer. Now, it gets even more expensive here with precision decryption. This directly focuses the exotic armor that you want. The cost will be 1 exotic Ingram, 3 Ascended Shards, 60,000 Glimmer, and 1 exotic Cipher. So stupid expensive. Now, the exotic Cipher limit will be raised from 1 to 5. I think the question everyone has on this, though, are we going to be able to get high stat rolls for the exotic armor pieces that we focus? Considering these costs, I would hope so. I also hope our ghost mods will be able to affect our stat distribution when we focus these exotic armor pieces. It's expensive. It needs to be 65 plus, without a doubt. At the same time, for my folks that are complaining about this, keep in mind, guys, you can still decrypt your exotic Ingram randomly with Raul. You do not have to go here and focus them. This is purely optional. But I will say, if I end up doing a precision decryption and that exotic armor piece comes out with 59 stat distribution, I am going to be pissed. Now, in Season the Deep, we're also going to be getting a new dungeon, as well as a repriced Crucible map, which will be Meltdown, new competitive rewards, which includes a Arc Sniper Rifle, a Season 21 Ascendant Emblem, and a Transmat effect, which of course goes hand in hand with our competitive rank. Now, a lot of people are questioning what is the Arc Sniper Rifle. Again, guys, this is going to be the competitive reward similar to that of Rose, and considering how good Rose is, I'm going to assume it's going to pop and it's going to be something new. I know a lot of people are like, Cross, could this be Longbow Synthesis? I know we got so many people that love that weapon back inside of Destiny 1. It was also Arc and one of the best PvP sniper rifles. I don't think so, but I do believe it's going to be a very good sniper rifle. Now, let's talk about the updates to Trials in Season the Deep. There's going to be an update to Passages. Wealth will reward extra Trials rank on every win, and the amount awarded increases as your major rank increases. Mercy will also now forgive 2 losses instead of just 1, but this is only for those that have not been flawless for the week, and will revert to its old behavior of forgiving just a single loss once you go flawless. This is fantastic, guys, for my folks trying to get that very first flawless. Considering the pool changes, the 2 loss forgiveness, the first game being kind of a freebie, this is going to be your opportunity to finally go flawless. Now, there's also going to be changes to the Gilded Flawless Triumph requirements, as well as a new flawless emblem, which will require you to never trail in wins during your flawless run. There's also going to be a possible shift to zone control elimination, renamed Domination, as well as a new Light Trials intro quest. Now, moving on to Season 22 Redacted. We are going to be getting a new Vex Network Crucible map that might give you also a peek to what the lore is going to be in Season 22. We're also going to be getting the exotic mission rotator. For my folks that didn't pick up Revision 0, Dead Messenger. I know, FOMO is real, but Presage, Vox Obscura, Operation Seraph Shield. Those exotic missions will be in rotation every week, similar to what we have with our dungeons and raids every single week too. But things like Dead Man's Tale, Dead Messenger, and Revision Zero, you will be able to acquire those weapons. Now we're also going to be getting a reprised Destiny 1 raid. Now a lot of people are saying this is just going to be Leviathan reprise. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Destiny 1 raid, and personally I think Wrath of the Machine would absolutely slap in Destiny 2. It's one of the best raids Bungie has ever done, so I'm hoping that's what Bungie brings back to us. Now there's also going to be a new game mode in PvP called Checkmate. Now this is going to create a slower paced experience for players where power spikes are earned rather than guaranteed. There's going to be changes to how special ammo is acquired, ability recharge rates, weapon time to kill, as well as player health settings. This could be a huge overhaul. And understand guys, one of these changes right here could literally change the entire meta, thus resulting in all of Crucible changing. A huge argument inside of PvP is folks do not like the fact that so many of our abilities are passively regenerating. They want less mayhem, more emphasis on getting kills with our weapons, and everything feeding into your abilities when getting those kills. Again, not for everybody, but some people may really like it. Now, Checkmate is going to be built as a modifier, and this can be easily applied to multiple standard modes, giving Bungie maximum flexibility going forward. And as the final shape approaches, other modes like Momentum and Mayhem may become modifiers too. Can you imagine a Trials of Osiris weekend that's Mayhem? Dude, that would be wild. Now, Season 23 redacted. This will be the season right before Final Shape, guys. We're going to be getting a new dungeon, and this is also where we're going to be getting Fireteam Finder. This will be in-game LFG. We saw a preview of this in the Lightfall showcase, but again, guys, that was just like the alpha stage or even like the pre-alpha stage. It's entirely possible that the layout and design is going to change completely given how early the production was when that teaser dropped. But this is going to be a game changer. A lot of people want to play in-game content, but want to find a team in-game. Now, I'm a little personally biased on this. I think Bungie should just add matchmaking for everything. Still have this LFG feature, still allow you to find a team in-game, but at the same time, completely open matchmaking up for everything. Raids, Grandmasters, all of the above. At the same time, there should be a toggle on and off. If you want to go into something solo, by all means. Hell, if you want to play Trials as a solo player and literally try to 1v3 the other team, dude, Bungie, let it happen. That should be a toggle on and off switch. If anything, gives the other team a completely free win. So an in-game LFG is fantastic, but at the same time, I hope Bungie opens up matchmaking and just let people go. And you'll be surprised, man. You'll find a blueberry out there who absolutely carries. Now, Ritual Focus season, there's going to be more focus on the core playlist experience in Season 23. Now, what this means is potential Gambit updates. Now, I know a lot of you are like, Cross, I don't like Gambit, but dude, we put out a video the other day on Gambit, and so many of the comments in that video were folks talking about how much they love Gambit. It blew my mind. I actually think there's a lot more people playing Gambit than I originally thought. And after experiencing the comp playlist, if I had to choose either 300 games of Gambit or 100 games of comp, no lie, fellas, I would choose Gambit. Now, we're also going to be getting a reprised Crucible map, that being the Citadel finally returning, one of the sexiest maps in the game. I still think Bungie needs to unload when it comes to PvP maps, or if anything, let us know what's going on with that, right? Like, what is the holdup with maps? Now, we have some unknown dates. The following entries we're going to talk about here were never assigned a release window. Some may be sooner, some may actually be later. And again, the pinned comment down below will be updated as time goes on, starting with Raid Dungeon Exotic Drop Chance boosting. This was teased, and we've already seen it implemented in some of our current in-game activities, but this is going to be something added everywhere, where achieving triumphs increases the drop chance for that activity's exotic. Now, Vanguard bounties are going to be getting an update, where essentially there's going to be a removal of unfriendly and difficult Vanguard bounties. Weapon level boosting will be added at some point. Now, I hope it's going to be added sooner rather than later, but a new weapon mod will be added that will increase the level of a crafted or enhanced weapon for the cost of standard currencies. Now, it's our understanding this is going to be a post-Season 21 release, but if that can roll out even sooner, my God, that would be amazing. I think everybody's getting fatigued at leveling weapons up at sure cheap. Now, there's also going to be resonant and harmonic alloys being removed. Again, Bungie really consolidating everything here in regards to our currencies. Weapon crafting has seen huge overhauls since its inception. Crucible map spawn adjustments are also going to be tuned up. This needs to hit the comp playlist. Like, I'm tired of actually pushing an enemy and then having enemies spawn behind me after I kill them. It's annoying. There's also going to be better PvP lobby balancing. Yeah, we'll see. Text chat improvements, which will include a game-wide text chat. That needs to happen, as well as chat moderation, speech to text, etc. We need a global chat, and I know there's going to be people spamming in there. I'm sure it's going to be full of degenerate comments, but guys, that's what makes an MMO an MMO. With that being said, Bungie's got to have a good system in place that immediately bleeps or blocks out degenerate behavior and text. I remember back in the day when playing RuneScape, you had to get creative when you wanted to say bad words. You couldn't just say bitch. You had to say biatch, or the text chat that would actually bleep it out, right? Now, zoom damage fall off changes. This is going to be a big one. Zoom and perks like rangefinder have become a requirement on several weapon types to compete. Bungie is looking to decouple the range of a weapon from its zoom value. That's huge. That's an overhaul and a half. I don't think folks realize how significant of a change that actually is. Now, Ironbender is going to get some game mode changes, and this change will make Ironbender more friendly to solos and PvE players, and quote, new twists we're cooking up as we speak. So guys, that is your roadmap for this year. Obviously, more things are going to be added, more sandbox changes, of course, probably next season and beyond. We'll continue to update this, but in the least, this gives you some sort of a chronological order to how things are coming. Let me know in the comments below if we missed anything. And fellas, if you enjoyed this video, a like on this is very much appreciated. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.